I heartily welcome all of you for this seminar on anti-dumping duties and the trade remedies. The government imposed the anti-dumping duty on foreign imports when it believes that the goods are being dumped through the low pricing in the domestic market. The anti-dumping duty is imposed to protect the local business and market from unfair competition by the foreign imports. The use of anti-dumping measures as an instrument of fair competition, which is permitted by the WTO. In fact, the anti-dumping is an instrument for ensuring the fair trade and is not a measure of protection. It provides a relief to the domestic industry against the injury caused by the dumping. The DGTR, Director General of Anti-Dumping Duty, is the apex national authority for administrating all trade remedial measures, including anti-dumping, countervailing duties, and safeguard measures. Functions of DGFT into its fold by merging them into one single national entity. It will also provide trade defense support to our domestic industry and exporters in dealing with the increasing instances of trade remedy investigations instituted against them by other countries. In the last 3 years, India initiated more than 130 anti-dumping duty to safeguard cases, to deal with the rising incidences of the unfair trade practice, and to provide a level playing field to the domestic industry. For understanding the effects of dumping and its adverse effects and measures to safeguard ourselves, we
इसको फोन करो जो मिला है ना वो चेक करो उधर मेल लीजिए तो मालूम पड़ेगा उसको.
I think some disturbance is there.
सुबेर जी म्यूट हो गए एक्चुअली.
Yes, sir. Subir sir.
Is muted.
Sir.
Now is okay. Subir ji, please,
Yes, sir.
please.
Sir, please.
I think
Subir
some,
sir. Yes, sir.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, okay, looking forward to your suggestions to improve the services of FIO. Thank you. Vishu, please continue.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to request Mr. Nilesh Trivedi, Assistant Director, MSME DI, to please start with his presentation and his welcome speech to our participants, sir.
Thank you, Rishi Madam. First of all, I welcome Shri Ashwini Kumar ji, Regional Chairman FIO, Shri Subair ji, Madam Rishu Mishra, Indore Chapter Head, and my teacher, Shri S.N. Panigrahi ji. Welcome to all of you, and welcome to all MSME entrepreneurs and exporters. Government of India has aim to achieve $5 trillion economy and export contribution around $1 trillion US dollar. For to achieve this, government has established export facilitation centers in all states. One of the export facilitation center, MSME DI Indore. I am the in charge of that EFC, Export Facilitation Center. The main purpose and objective of this Export Facilitation Center is to become a bridge between the agencies, between all the exporting agencies like FIO, EPC, APIDA, Spice Board, DGFT, DGTR, Director General of Trade Remedies, Customs, Concord, Logistics, so that our MSME exporters should get knowledge. उन्हें ठीक से जानकारी मिले कि किस प्रकार से डॉक्यूमेंटेशन करना है, किस प्रकार से कोई दिक्कत आती है तो MSMEs के पास पहुंचकर अपना ग्रीवेंस सबमिट करना है, फिर हम लोग हमारे लेटर हेड से सिग्नेचर करके फॉलो अप करके ये मैटर्स को सॉल्व करते हैं. We have organized around 6 management development program on export documentation and procedures. It is almost free, just 200 rupees is the fee, and it is free for women. 5 to 6 hours is the class timings, and it normally function in 5 days. We have invited ECGC, FIO, DGFT, custom officials, and some export consultants. this export facilitation center is very important for budding exporters and who are already in the business of exports. So export facilitation center की help से, जैसे right now we are have in a scheme, namely international cooperation scheme. Under this international cooperation scheme, there will be reimbursement for participation of domestic manufacturers in international events. Our ministry has participated around 535 exhibitions around the world. So we want minimum 10 unit delegation per association from an state, minimum 10. Maximum can be 20, 30, 40 according to their need. So we will reimburse on the basis of our Udyam registration. Udyam registration is a new concept of MSME registration. Those who have not have still their Udyam registration, first they themselves registered with Udyam registration on Udyam registration portal. It is a free of cost, nothing amount, no cost should be paid. And you have your PAN number, Aadhaar number, GST number, your product detail, investment details of investment of machines. And then those who are existing entrepreneur, they also migrate from their Udyog Aadhaar to Udyam registration before 31st March 2021. Otherwise, their registration will be suspended. So I am requesting all manufacturers and service provider, please be registered on Udyam registration portal. And more, you should also register it on GEM portal so that you can supply your product and services to government department through our scheme 25% public procurement policy. And you also are requested to register on yourself on trade portal, trade, TREDS, trade receivable electronic discounting system, so that your problem of delayed payment will be solved. Still, soon we will organizing the one seminar or webinar on this trade, so that your problem of delayed payment कि भाई amount माल supply कर दिया है but पैसा नहीं आ रहा है, amount नहीं मिल रहा है, तो उसके लिए क्या होगा कि आपने यदि माल सप्लाई कर दिया है तो आपको स्टिपुलेटेड टाइम में पैसा मिल जाएगा और फाइनेंसर उसमें इन्वॉल्व हो जाएंगे. तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूं, आई एम रिक्वेस्टिंग यू एंड कि मोटिवेट टू अदर एंटरप्रेन्योर आल्सो टू रजिस्टर देमसेल्व्स ऑन ट्रेड. अभी ये रिसेंटली फ्री भी था, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने किया था एमएसएमईज के लिए. और इफ यू हैव एनी प्रॉब्लम रिलेटेड टू योर इंडस्ट्री फॉर स्टार्टिंग अप स्टार्टअप, for any self-employment scheme, for any financial scheme, or any guarantee related issue, or any other issue, then you please write our champion portal, champions@gov.in, under which your grievances has been forwarded to the appropriate agency and post follow-up will be taken care of by our officers. So these are the important measures to boost manufacturing as well as for exports. As far as export point of view, we are very far behind in globe. We have just below 2% contribution in world trade. Earlier, our contribution is 25%. Now it is reduced to 2%. So this has to be increased. And there are many opportunities, like in defense sector. Government officially banned some products for defense manufacturing. This is a blessing in disguise for our manufacturing. Right now, this anti-dumping duty and trade remedies topic. This anti-dumping duty comes under Custom Act section 9A and B of Custom Tariff Act 1975, further amended to 1995, and it is Article 4, 6th of GATT 1994. So this is a very good measure to conserve our domestic industry. Recently, India banned steel product which is used in automobiles for 5 years from South Korea, China, and Vietnam, so that though our some automobile products are manufactured on a higher cost, but we will soon get self-sufficient and will be Atmanirbhar for automobile point of view, parts, steel parts related. So this is a very good step by Government of India, and defense manufacturing also promoted under Make in India concept. So you should get well conversant with all state government subsidies, concessions, export facilitation center, you are requested regularly attend this such type of webinar, conferences, workshops, seminar, and interaction with officers directly, not with any consultant. Always deal with direct officers interaction. Then only you will have a good prospects for your industry. So thank you to for Rishu and FIO for organizing such a good program. Now I am thank you very much to all.
Thank you, Nilesh sir. And you said it very truly that we have to become Atmanirbhar and we have to increase our percentage in total export as we were having in past years before independence or before the Britishers came to India. We were, you rightly said that we were having 26% of total share of our export in entire India. Although that time we were dealing in the barter system, but our export percentage was very high, and we have that caliber. And the officers like you are always there for support and increase the exports and always assisting and giving your helping hand to FIO. Thank you so much, sir. Moving ahead, I would like to request Mr. Panigrahi to please address the participant and please share his knowledge, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, namaskar.
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Let us start the discussion.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, just I will upload and I will come back.
Sure, sir.
Just. So the screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Then just a minute. So good morning to all of you. Good morning for this session. I am SN Panigrahi. Thanks to MSME, especially Nilesh ji. He has quite some time requested me for this seminar, and also FIO for organizing this wonderful session. So all the delegates and panelists, good morning to all of you. Let us start this session, anti-dumping duties and trade remedies. It is jointly organized by MSME DI Indore and FIO Indore. I am SN Panigrahi. I am international consultant, corporate trainer and mentor. And of course I am also an author, a small author, published more than 500 plus articles. And also, if you can see in the public domain, more than 90 plus YouTubes are there, plus 90 plus again these slide shares also there in my name. So my hobby of contributing knowledge, whatever I gain little bit to the society. So especially for the import and export profession, because from the beginning I have been associated with this profession. Though I am a basically electrical engineer, I am mainly involved in the projects and procurements, contracts, but somehow the import and export also become part of my profession. So I have gained little bit knowledge by experience only, but I don't have any background in the commerce background, only because I am an engineer and involved in the projects and procurements, contracts. Thereby I gained little bit of knowledge about import and exports. So with this knowledge I want to share little bit what I have gained. Generally we call it dumping. What is a dumping that we discuss here, and why it is injurious to the industry, for the domestic industry, and what is the remedies are there which is compatible with the policies of the WTO. So those aspects we'll discuss. Before that, what is the dumping we'll discuss. Dumping, of course everybody knows if it is one country is at the lower price dumping to the other country, so it is treated as a dumping. But dumping remedies are available only when there is an injury to it, injury to the domestic industry. Dumping happens many times in the trade. It is a normal practice. It is nothing a new concept or nothing new. Wherever there is an excess capacity or some advantage they have in terms of the pricing or in terms of any other technological aspects, so they will dump the materials into other country in a huge volumes and quantities. And as a result of the dumping, the importing country, the domestic market may be affected. Some examples I'll tell you before we are going and understanding. Over a period, if we see pharmaceutical inputs, mostly APIs, earlier we have enough of sufficient capacity within our India, but over a period of time we have surrendered to China. Now almost like 68% of the pharmaceutical APIs, means that is a raw material, are being imported from China. And these leave apart, this is something of okay, some quality or some other aspects are involved or high values are involved. But even small items also, we are slowly one by one we are surrendering to other countries, especially China. And even if you see toys industry, which we have good craftsmen, we have traditional, our this toy industries was very sound, but now over a period we have handed over to foreign countries, especially China. 85% of our toys are being imported from various countries, mainly it is China. This apart, can't we even manufacture agarbattis which are praying to our god and goddesses? So those also for quite long time we have been surrendered to foreign countries. Recently, of course, government is taken some initiatives, but that's not enough, because by which time most of them is most of small scale industry, mostly it is MSME sector, has already collapsed. The toy industry is almost to the tune of 4,000 crore business, means that 4,000 crore business we have surrendered to foreign countries. This apart, if we see many of the even small pottery and other thing also, like god, goddesses, idols also, over a period we are surrendered to China. And this is what happening. The dumping means small entries are happening. It's not, may not be at a time, but small entries, but those entries are being spreaded. And our MSM is also one way or other ways means responsible for this type of things, because we don't innovate and we don't even improve our capabilities, and always we say government help, government subsidies, government help, but we don't ourselves, we stand, we don't innovate, we don't come up with the new technologies and new methods. As a result, when imports are coming, those are become attractive to the consumers, so slowly they shift over the import goods. It's nothing to blame anybody, but everybody has to take the blame. So this is how the dumping happening. And over a period, now these small items, or even kites also, why our Indian skies should have this Chinese kites? Can't we manufacture kites also within our industry in India? So these things actually gradually coming up, and as a result we now call as a dumping. But dumping happens in a gradual manner. In some way they enter into the market, saying the market behavior, the consumer behavior, accordingly that will be behaved. Chinese are most innovative. Not only they are cheap products, cost wise very cheap, but otherwise also they are most innovative. And we are not innovating, so always we take the government's help, like shelter. So those shelters through many of the means are there. One of them is duties, customs duties is one of the shelter, and many of measures recent time we are taking for the some BIS certifications are important or necessary, or other restrictions, non-tariff restrictions we going to impose. But certain limitations also there when we are going with non-tariff measures. So our BSA standards are there. The standards are now equally applicable to domestic as well as international. So we have to cope up to that standard. This apart, for example, in automobile industry, lot of tires are being dumping. Okay, we can't call it dumping, but it is happening. And our industry, though very good international players also there in India, manufacturing those materials, but slowly we are not able to compete with them import, so they are also surrendering and closing down. Some of the units they manufacture in India, for example Sony TVs was earlier manufacturing in India, they stopped it, and then they gone to all mostly TV sets, the color TV especially, all those mean imported. Here mostly happening is assembling. So like that we are allowing to other countries to dump into Indian market. We have huge potential, we have a huge consumption market. This is an attraction for all over the world, but we are unable to develop our own MSMEs or our own industries. Somehow we are surrendering to others. So coming to this dumping, dumping is a situation like the definition is international price discrimination. We call it price discrimination, but is a generally in a trade most of the time it happens. It's not a discrimination always, we call it in unfair practice, but fair practice also can certain times happen, because price discrimination is a part and parcel of the commercial business transactions. Suppose somebody is buying at high volumes, you will give the additional discount. So we don't call it as a discrimination. Low volume, higher prices, higher volume, low prices is general practice. And that is also may happen. It's not only just that is the dumping, but volume wise also that price discrimination may happen. But if it unfairly happens, that has to be investigated. So that is the subject we are talking about now. Why these subjects are now coming up in a fast? Government is waking up, because we have one side heavy immense imports are huge imports. It's impacting our economy, and our exports are not happening to that extent. And to some extent, always I blame to our policy makers also one way, because all of export promotion schemes, so what we call it through foreign trade policy, are mostly import orientation. We encourage imports only, we don't encourage the domestic market to procure. But the so-called exporters always tilted towards imports, because our policies also promote the imports. You call it any of the schemes, all the schemes are promoting the imports only, either MEIS or advance authorization or DFIA or EPCG scheme, or the so-called this EOUs or SEZs are mostly import orientation, and small percentage of value addition is enough. In case of SEZ, positive value addition is enough. Means you import whatever you do, God knows about the manufacturing, but we are importing. So that is how the imports are coming, and it is dumping into Indian market. Huge domestic market is there, but it is dumped. And for the name of the export promotion promotions also, we are allowing the dumping only of the imports. So, but we call from various angles to control it, when naturally we are allowing them, and then we start controlling mechanism. So that control mechanism, again anti-dumping duty is one of the controlling mechanism we are going to talk about, so that we will discuss. So this dumping is a situation where the international price discrimination, where the price of a product when sold to the importing country is less than the price of the same product when it is being marketed in the exporting country. So this is the subject, meaning of the dumping. Now the dumping, why it is happens? Because of short term that benefits they want to take. Suppose in overseas there are large companies are there, for few means percentage of the loss for promotion, actually it is not for the loss anything, it is for promotion of their product into different regions. They just entry with dumping of the price, means price discount, means heavily they reduce the prices and enter into the new markets. So that is market strategy. So as a market strategy also dumping being practiced. And also some of the governments, for every government in fact worldwide, if we see, they promote for the exports. One way or the other way they will promote the exports, and they will give lot of incentives. And some countries even that interest rate also very less than ours, and less than 1%. Some countries are less than even 0.5%. But our interest rates are huge to the up to double digit. So we are not able to compete. Those means overseas exporters are more competitive in terms of their pricing, or in terms of their entry into the market, because they are getting lot of subsidies, or a lot of interest related or other investment related incentives they are getting. So those products are cheaper than ours. And naturally in the domestic market, that country overseas means exporter also selling in the domestic market of that country are costly. But because those countries also giving certain incentives, like we are also promoting some incentives, they are also promoting certain incentives, so that products become cheaper. So they are dumping into the different countries. So this material injury to the domestic industry we are talking about, because when now the dumping happens, the domestic means industry definitely been affected. And one of the effect is, for example, that profit margins and other thing will drastically come down, or the sales will fall down, or the capacity utilization may not be fully able to utilize. As a result of what, other things also may start. Employment, because we have a huge population, and employment is a biggest challenge for us. And all these byproducts, like it starts as a spiral effect, all these things starts. Unemployment, then labor unrest, then social impacts, many things will start, and as a result our economy also has an impact on because of the dumping. And dumping causes are threatens to the domestic industry. Then there is a remedial measures are there as per the WTO norms, we can go ahead, but there is a certain conditions also there. What are those? Little bit we will discuss and deliberate. One is as per the this WTO, means earlier it was the GATT, and as per the GATT provisions, we are official, means every country has means official, they can announce about the anti-dumping if any unfair practices they noticed and evidence is there, because all these things are evidence based. One of the biggest challenge in the anti-dumping is evidence, to produce the evidence. The second aspect is awareness is not there. So even though those are being dumped, our industry is not much of the aware. So unless we represent, government will not take the actions, because there is certain representation should be there from the industry side. Therefore we are now discussing about, that is why we call the industry people to have a deliberations on the subject. So industry awareness is very much essential to follow with the anti-dumping duty. And in fact in 19th century, early in the 19th century itself, it is started anti-dumping the story. And the European Union's, that is sugar industries, they appeal to the respective governments for the stopping the dumping of these items. In 1902, actually there was thoughts have come up with anti-dumping duties, and first country they adopted is Canada. They started, then followed with the European countries and the US also, and formally it was incorporated in the GATT agreement in 1947. So that is how they started. There the article 6 of the GATT it was started. That is the story in started. Then after it has been further refined, and subsequently the code of anti-dumping were developed during the Kennedy round in 1962-67, then Tokyo round 73 and 79, and further it is refined. And that time it was a voluntary base that signatory countries, it is not a mandatory, but it's voluntarily they can come up and they sign for the agreement. So that is what the initial starting of the anti-dumping duty. Thereafter, in Uruguay round, that is very remarkable and historical provision, means agreements, that round of agreements. So during this time, it made a binding provision all the members, binding provision for all the members of the GATT. And then after, of course, WTO is formed. So now it is WTO, but all the WTO members are now binding to follow these provisions. Then what is anti-dumping duty? Yes, it is a measure to counter the unfair practice of dumping the goods into other country. So it is established unfair practice. So to counter it, this is the measures. And of course, all the dumpings need not be investigated. Only when there is an injury to the industry, domestic industry, and the domestic industry represented, then only it has to be investigated. And therefore, if there is a dumping but no injury, then no duty can be imposed. And duty remains in force for 5 years, that is a normal standard. But in between review also there, intermediately we can review it. So we can represent, the industry can represent and take for the review again provisions. And whether the dumping is illegal, immoral, it is no immoral, because in business it is not immoral, because you are making discrimination of the price, no doubt, but discrimination because of the various reasons, because of the new market entry, everybody does this. When they enter into the new market, generally discounts and other things being given, drastically prices brought down to drastically. So there is a discrimination, yes, discrimination, but not illegal or immoral. So, but when it is become immoral, because you are deliberately dumping the goods, deliberately in the sense that in the exporting market, exporters market, the prices are high, but you are selling it much lower than those prices, then it is something like called unfair practice. So therefore, these unfair practices can be curbed through certain measures. And of course, whether it is a protectionist measure, definitely it may not be treated as a protectionist measure, but some countries may be, yes, this is using a instrument like to make a protection, but otherwise basically it is not a protectionist measure, because it is only to counter the unfair practices of the dumping. Otherwise it is not a protectionist measure for the protecting the domestic industry. Protecting domestic industry, other measures are there, like tariff is one of the measures. Non-tariff measures also you can make to protect the Indian industry. Unfairly anything practices happen. This is also for unfair practices only. You are means counter, as a counter measure, you are putting certain anti-dumping duties. So the cheap prices, yes, it can become a cheap because of the various reasons. The price of the means from the exporting country, that country government may be giving certain benefits. The government may be giving certain benefits, means some type of incentives, or certain countries also giving certain type of subsidies. So as a result, the exports become for that country cheaper than in the domestic market. So always there must be some difference of the export price and domestic price. But taking out the domestic benefits also, like the taxes, duties and all taking out, then extractive price comparison, if there is a difference, the domestic price of the exporting country and the export price, there is a drastic difference, and then anti-dumping measures can be taken. But otherwise, simply because the prices are cheaper, we can't take the measures. For example, Chinese products, most of them are cheaper because their manufacturing is cheaper, and they are doing also many of the other practices which are advantage for them. Also, their infrastructure is one of the good factor for the Chinese economy. Their infrastructure is very robustly they developed over a period. Because of that, the logistic cost is much cheaper in China. But in India, the logistic costs are heavily costing. So that is inbuilt as a cost, almost like 14% of our exports. The logistic cost element is 14%. So such a high logistic cost is there. So we are not able to compete. But other countries, because of their various advantages and benefits, that products may be cheaper. Cheaper doesn't mean they are dumping. Cheaper, it may be cheaper because of that various factors I told, economic factors. That products may be cheaper. That is why Chinese products are cheaper. And as a consumer, people are preferring to Chinese products because of the cost. So simply because it is cheaper, we can't take the initiations, because there should be some evidence. What are the evidence and all things subsequently I will tell you. I will discuss all these things. What are the legal provisions also, framework we will discuss. As per the WTO norms, as I told you, I expressed also, GATT 1994 is remarkable provisions are available for the anti-dumping provisions. So later on, of course, in India also from 1st of January 1995, we have brought all the provisions of the GATT, and we are signatory of the WTO also. So we have adopted all the provisions in alignment with GATT norms. And in India, of course, this section 9A, 9B, 9C of the Customs Tariff Act 1975, of course, later on they amended also. As per the amended provisions, it has been available, the legal framework is there. And also anti-dumping customs, that rules also been framed related to the anti-dumping duty. And there are two authorities are there broadly. One is from the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and they investigate, they recommend the anti-dumping duty. After the investigation and study, they do it. Then it is being imposed or implemented by the Finance Ministry through Revenue Department, through Customs. Whenever that imports happen, Customs levy those additional duties, that is anti-dumping duties, right? So Customs will make the collection of the anti-dumping duties. So implementation is from the Customs side. The provisions for the study of the anti-dumping duty, and then recommendation of the anti-dumping duty, investigation and recommendation, so done by the Commerce Ministry. And in the Commerce Ministry, there is a division called the Directorate General of Trade Remedies. Earlier, of course, various other divisions also there, now is clubbed, and I will show the next slide, that is them. So now the Directorate General of Trade Remedies, they are the authority. They will investigate and they recommend to the government, means that then it will be imposed, and it is being implemented by Finance Ministry. Yeah, this is what under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Earlier there are three divisions are there. One is for the anti-dumping duty, DGAD, means anti-dumping and allied duties. This is one division looking after the anti-dumping duty. And then there is a safeguards duty, Director General of Safeguards. Then in DGFT also there is another division was there, that is QR division, means quantitative restrictions division. So this is also one type of restricting the imports if any unfair practices are happened. So these are the measures were there. So all these three divisions now merged into one division, say unified division, that is called Director General of Trade Remedies. So this is how it is newly formed. In 2018 it was formed. And now all the anti-dumping duty measures are safeguard related or quantitative any restrictions and other thing also. Now it is been looking after. Now about the coming to the anti-dumping duty. First we have to understand what is the dumping. Dumping means the normal value of the exporting country, the price, normal price is higher than the export price. Means exports are cheaper in the exporting country. I am talking about exporting country who have been exporting. In that country the export price is cheaper than normal price existing in the domestic market of the exporting country. So the normal value is in the exporting country. The normal value is the comparable price at which the goods under complaint are sold in the ordinary course of trade in the domestic market of the exporting country. So this is again they will compare, and there is of course it is not one price, but they generally takes a weighted averages prices of the normal value. They establishes from various means. So they establish the normal price. Then if it is proved that normal price is more than export price, means export price means the individuals who have been exporting to other country at the price lesser than the normal price, then it is called as a dumping. Dumping happened. The export price means the export price of the allegedly dumped into the Indian means the price at which it has been exported to India. Generally, to make this comparison, because there is various trade practices are there, and delivery terms are there, like we have Incoterms for example. So based on the Incoterms, X price, X works price or X factory price is different from the FOB price. FOB is different from CF price because of various elements of costs have been added. So to make this uniformly make a comparable, then always we arrive at the X factory price or X works price. That is what the best practice, so that equalized comparison can be made for the normal value and export price. Then margin of dumping is been worked out. The margin is nothing but it is difference of the normal price and export price. That is what the margin of the dumping we call it. So this is the difference. This margin is unfairly being done. Means the normal price is higher and deliberately they are selling at lower price. Therefore the dumping is happening. So dumping margin is the difference between normal price, normal value and the export price. Okay, sir? And also these two has to be made an equalized comparison, means X factory or X works price basis we have to make equalized comparison. If anything are different, then we have to go back to work out the X factory prices only. Suppose that the export price is suppose CIF, then you have to go backward and work out. We remove this, reduce the insurance, then freight and other elements has to remove, then arrive at the X factory price. So on the equalized comparison, we have to make this pricing comparison. For example, the normal value of item, for example, any of the item, say 110 US dollars per kg, for example. Then they are exporting the same item at $90 per kg, for example. Then how to calculate the margin of the dumping? Just let us see. The margin of dumping is, the margin means the difference we are talking about. The difference is 110 minus 90. So there is 20 is the difference, that is the margin. So that percentage of margin generally we calculate on percentage. So that accordingly the percentage wise that we make the margin the anti-dumping duty. So it will be calculated at say 20 divided by the export price is the basis. So export price is basis here made. So therefore it comes to 22.22% is a margin, the dumping margin. So like that we calculate the dumping margin. Okay, then various factors I told you. It's not just a face value on the X factory, but many things factors also there. The physical characteristics, levels of trade, quantities, taxation, many other factors we consider. So that equalized base they has to make comparison. Then if there is a dumping, means investigation when they start on the three factors. Any investigation if they start, means that importing country, that government want to start any investigation, then three factors are there. One of these, there should be evidence that there is a dumping. There is dumping happening, that means that proof evidence must be there. And the second factor, there is an injury to the domestic industry. The injury has to be proved. If there is no injury, then dumping is no wrong, and dumping will go on. No government can impose any of the countermeasures, but there must be some injuries should happen to the industry. What is that injury means? The sales prices coming, profits are coming down, or idle capacity is increased, or the volumes are come down from the domestic market. All these things, that the proof has to be there, that evidence must be there. Therefore, it can be initiated the investigations. And of course, there should be linkage of the causal link between dumping and the injury. These two, that link must be there. Because of the dumping only that injury happened, that proof must be there. It's not like in general economies come down, or overall the volumes consumption in the domestic market is come down. That may not be the reason for the going for the dumping, but the reason should be there. The linkage must be there, that because of the dumping only that injury happened, that evidence must be proved. So that is the challenging in this type of these anti-dumping measures. And in fact, in India we are not much of the aware of these provisions, and because of the our industry also not collaboratively work together. Everybody works, why I want to disclose my prices, my costs. This is the question comes whenever we are going for the investigation, because I have experienced it many times. They don't expose, they don't share that data, because the data has to be shared, that evidence has to be proved. But unless that industry comes out with data and information over a period of time, then it can't be proved. Then it is very difficult to go with investigation. So that data has to be provided. All the internal data which has been we are procuring, what is our cost data and other things has to be shared. So those are very essential for the proving of this. And how our profits have been affected, otherwise how our volumes have been affected. All these things we have to prove. Then only this investigation can be started. Then there is a like article, because this is very important. The goods, because all the goods are may not be same functionality, but we may call in different names in trade, or different terminologies we call it. So that is also one way to escape for certain times. So therefore they use the like article. Like article means the anti-dumping action can be taken only when there is a Indian industry which produces the like articles, which when compared to the alleged dumping of the imported goods. The article produced in India must be either identical to the dumped goods, or in the absence of such an article, another article that has characteristics closely resembling to the goods. I mean, that is very important, because many goods, many times in the trade practices we call in different names. The nomenclatures we change it. That is the general practice also happening. That is why the classification is also very important. That harmonized HS classification also, that is where. But all the litigation also there itself starts. Because of certain benefits we change the names also. So therefore the like article means we have to understand similar functionality, for example, it meeting the same requirements of the consumers. So like that like article we have to define properly, and it is impacting the like article, then only we can initiate the investigation. If there is import item and similar like item or like item is there in India, and those items are being affected, that industry of the manufacturers of those like items are being affected, then we can start the investigation. Then material injury to the domestic industry, as we already discussed, unless there is an injury, we can't take any anti-dumping measures. Dumping is allowed, no harm also. but only when it is injured to the domestic industry, then only actions can be taken. So that proof must be made that it is injured to the domestic industry. Domestic industry, what are the factors may affect? Volume wise or price wise also can affect. So those things we have to prove. How Indian domestic market manufacturers these volumes are fallen down, or how the prices are affected because of the dumping, that has to be proved. And the volume effect is the authority examines the volumes of the dumped imports, including the to the extent to which there have been or is likely to be significant increase in the volume of dumped imports, either in the absolute terms or in relation to the production of or consumption of the industry. That absolute terms means overall that volumes we are talking about, but certain times we may take, because the domestic industry consumption also may come down, for example, as a result volumes are come down, then that percentage also, that linkage also we have to identify. It need not be only in absolute terms, but maybe certain times they take into consideration of the in relation to production or consumption. Similarly, price effect. Similarly, the price effect, unless there is some noise is coming. Hello. So please mute it. Some noise is coming. Yeah. Okay. Then the price effect. The effect of the dumped import on the prices in the domestic market for like articles, including the existence of the price undercutting, or any to the extent to which the dumped imports causing the price depression or preventing price increase for the goods in which the domestic market covered. So the two factors are we are considering. One is the volume effect and the price effect. Based on that, we can make the initiation of the anti-dumping measures. And some of the measures which can be done means declining output, for example. The impact, economic impact we are talking about, financial impact because of the dumped goods, maybe in domestic market that decline in output or loss of sales, loss of market share or reduced profit or decline in productivity, decline in capacity or utilization means underutilized, means you have capacity but unable to utilize because of the dumping of the goods. Then reduced return on investments, price effects, then adverse impacts on the cash flow or inventories or employment or the other wages, like all these things we have to prove it. That evidence we must prove it, how our sales has come down or how our market share is come down or our capacities are remain idle. Those things we have to prove it. That causal link between dumping and injury, as already we have discussed, is very important. Because of the dumping that injury happened, that we have to prove it. That is the biggest challenge for this anti-dumping measures, because these anti-dumping measures is long, because a lot of investigations has to be made. It takes longer period, 2 years to even more also, certain times it drag it. So that is how, even though timelines are there, but many times we have experienced that because of one reason or other reasons, that information, the data is not properly come in proper compiled fashion. So therefore the authorities are not able to take the decisions, and it's been extended further times. So that is why these anti-dumping measures are very lengthy measures, very long time consuming measures. So that linkage has to be established. That is what we are talking about. Linkage about the volume and price effects or demand contraction or productivity or technology, all this in the linkage between dumping and injury we have to establish. Then one of the essential factor for initiating the investigation, there should be representation from the domestic industry. That domestic industry, the representation, that factor, two factors are there that has to be fulfilled. One is the domestic producers expressly supporting the anti-dumping application must account for not less than 25% of the total production of the like articles in the domestic market. This is one condition. The other condition also must be fulfilled, with both the condition has to be fulfilled. The other condition, domestic producers expressly supporting the application, means that anti-dumping application you have to make to the authorities. So when you make the authority, these two conditions has to be satisfied. The other condition, this is application must account for more than 50% of the total production of the like articles by those expressly supporting as well as opposing. Both supporting and opposing must be at least 50% of the total production in the of the like goods in the domestic market, and this 25% must be there for supporting this also. At least 25% of the industry representation must be there. That is what the meaning of at least 25% of the industry representation. Again, this condition with 50% of those both clubbed together, opposing and supporting, must be there. So if this both the conditions are satisfied, then only the investigation can start. Then initiation, that is what the steps are there, initiation for the investigation. Then domestic industry also, what is the domestic industry also been defined. Domestic industry doesn't include these importers and those related to import and export, means they import the goods and just they export the same goods, for example, means they like traders, merchandisers, they are not those are not come into this domestic industry when we talks about. Okay. So then defined domestic industry. Domestic industry means Indian producers of like articles as whole or those producers whose collective output constitutes a major portion of the total Indian production. So that is what they defined as a domestic market, domestic industry, but excluding these two categories. Those are importing or those importing and exporting. So these two categories have been removed from this definition of the domestic industry. That means they are not representing the domestic industry. Relief to the domestic industry, yes, there is a provision, that is what the anti-dumping is given, because there is dumping and dumping has an injury to the industry. Industry been affected in many ways, as I told you, also in volume terms, in price terms, in profit terms, underutilization of capacity, like that. There have been injury is there for the domestic industry. Then some measures, some relief mechanism is there. That relief is anti-dumping provisions. Anti-dumping duty provisions can be imposed. So this is again source specific basis and ad valorem or specific basis also it has been done, means per ton or per kg, like specific measures also been taken, or most of the times ad valorem basis, that is because the percentage calculation they made it. In some cases percentage calculation also, because of the price factors, it has been varying, so they move to the other factor like per ton basis or per kg basis or per unit basis. That measures also been done. So that is how this anti-dumping duty measures have been taken. And there is another provision in the GATT that the lower duty rule is there, means certain relaxation. Not that always the anti-dumping duty is applicable, but there is certain relaxation provisions also been provided. One is, suppose the dumping margin and the injury margin, these two are being compared, the lesser of these two are being taken. Dumping margin, what is the dumping margin? I already talked to you. Then there is injury margin, that is also we have to understand. Injury margin means when we are importing, the landed cost of the import versus the domestic market, that is what the injury, what is happening, that is we have to also understand. So as per the GATT provisions, national authority cannot impose the duties higher than the margin of the dumping. Margin of the dumping is the maximum we can go, and in the injury margin also we have to consider what is the injury. Even though the injury is more, but margins we should not make more than this. That anti-dumping duty we can't make more than this margin of dumping. That is a restriction. Okay. India also accepted this similarly. India restrict the anti-dumping duty to the lower of the two, means dumping and or injury. These two margins are there. What are these two margins? Again I will talk to you. These are the two margins. One is the injury margin, is nothing but your landed cost. Landed cost includes, means whenever you are importing, the landed cost includes the accessible value by the customs plus the basic custom duty. Only the basic custom duty is taken. Other like IGST will not be considered, because that is in anyhow given a this one way of the taking the ITC measures or refunds measures are there. Therefore, that is not allowed. Only the basic custom duty is taken into consideration, and the landed price, fair selling price and the landed cost. This difference is called as the injury margin. Means whenever we are importing the dumped goods, for example, that what is that landed cost of the this import and selling price of the domestic market, for example, in normal course. So both are being compared, then there is injury being identified. So this is the injury margin. And dumping margin already we have discussed, normal value minus export price. So this is the dumping margin. So out of these two, which are the lower, only that is been imposed, because as per the GATT norms there is certain condition is there, we shouldn't go more than margin of the dumping. Even though injury is more, but we have to restrict up to maximum margin of the dumping only, because lowest of these two only we have to take as per the Indian law. Then another provision is there, de minimis margins, means suppose that exporting country, that specific product, exporter's product is less than 2% of the export price. In such case, we can't take the measures for the dumping. We can't take measures for the dumping, because margin is only less than 2% of the export price. Therefore, we can't initiate any dumping anti-dumping measures for this type of situation, because the margin of dumping is less than 2% of the export price. And volume wise also, if the specific country, this is specific country wise, it is specific exporter wise, and in a country wise, suppose any of the country that dumping the goods coming to that importing country is less than 3%, then also it may not be considered. Less than 3% of the total import of that country. Okay, or certain times this cumulative value means cumulatively, suppose many countries are there coming together less than 3%, but if it is more than 7%, then we can take the anti-dumping measures, but less than 7% we can't take the anti-dumping measures. So this is certain relaxation given, because this small this percentage of the this dumping happen only 2% of the export price, or the volume wise also it is very negligible, less than 3%. Therefore, some relaxations given, we can't take the anti-dumping measures, even though there is a dumping proof is there, and also there is injury is there to the industry. Even then we can't take the measures because of these provisions. Okay, sir. Then price undertaking, the exports concern furnishes an undertaking to revise the prices. For example, the exporter he now taken a, this is for relaxation, for example, again he undertakes that he will not henceforth the dump the goods. He takes the undertaking, the price undertaking, that is what we are calling. He will not export less than that price, for example, he take the undertaking, so that there is no injury happens. In such case also there is a relaxation, so that we can't put the anti-dumping measures can be dropped. Then the application, the procedure, briefly I talked to this procedure. What is that? This application has to be made to this, I told you, DGTR, that is under the Ministry of the Commerce and Industry. We have to submit to them with all our evidences, and as I told you, the conditions also I told you, minimum representation of the 25% of the production of the domestic industry must be representing, and again another condition of the 50% of the supporting and non-supporting opposing, that is also must be there. These two conditions has to be satisfied, and the injury has to be proved. Then only we make the application, then that application can be considered by the authorities. And neither GATT agreement nor anti-dumping duty nor Indian laws provide the any specific guidelines regarding the period of investigation. Investigation, how much that period of investigation not mentioned, but it should not be less than 6 months. That is what, because a fair amount of investigation has to be done. So generally they take in a year or two like that, but less than 6 months it not be considered. That investigation period is not mentioned anywhere, but generally they takes for the past few years, 1 or 2 years or 3 years like that we can take, but less than 6 months is not considered, because these may be seasonal factors or many other factors, so it is not as per the WTO norms also not allowed. Then investigation procedure, and this is the broadly what we are talking about. First is a preliminary screening of the application, then initiation, the authority will start the initiation, then access to the information, because lot of information has to be collected, not only from Indian domestic players, but it has to be collected from the overseas also. The overseas exporters, that country representation has to be made. All these things we have to collect a lot of information. Then preliminary findings, then provisional duty will be imposed, and then oral evidence, then final determination they made, and then after this is disclosure of the information. All these things will be made in the means gazette publication will be made after determination, gazette publication, and then it is implementable. That implementation is done by the means revenue department of the finance ministry. They impose the anti-dumping duty when we are importing any of the goods. That anti-dumping duty will be over and above the existing duties. What is the existing duty? Over and above they impose the anti-dumping duty. So there is time limitation. Generally the anti-dumping duties have been prescribed for 5 years period. This and termination also possible if the application is made, but proper evidence or insufficient data is not available, then that can be terminated also based on the authority's provisions. Termination is possible because of these conditions. If there is no request in writing from the domestic industry, you see, when there is no request in writing to the domestic industry, means it is our owners. Industry has to represent, not the government. We had to represent, then only that initiation can be taken. When there is no sufficient evidence, then also they will not take any action, because that investigation has to be dropped. If the margin of dumping is less than 2%, as I already told you, if the margin is less than 2%, no actions can be taken, no anti-dumping measures can be taken. Similarly, in volume terms also, it is less than 3% from any of the particular country, or as collectively many countries, but less than 70% of the total imports, then also no measures can be taken, anti-dumping measures can be taken. Then injury is negligible also. Yes, the negligible means because of the price, this 2% or 3% of the volume is, so it's treated as negligible. Therefore, no investigation can be made in these cases. Then retrospective measures also provision is there. Yes, we can take, but not more than 90 days. That condition also been imposed. Means we should not go back retrospectively more than 90 days of the provision, but this is also a condition. Retrospectively measures also we can do. Otherwise, normally they announce that effective date in the gazette notification. When the anti-dumping duty is imposed, gazette notification is published for the public view, and then there the effective date also specifically been mentioned. Then review, as I told you, intermediate reviews also possible. Industry represents in between, for example, the review is possible, and department also some time to time they review, because many of the market condition may change during the period. Therefore, review is possible. Reviews also government side they can take, or representations made by the industry also they can take for the review meetings, review provisions. Then anti-dumping duty, whether it is applicable to imports made by the SEZ or EOU or under advance authorization, or any of the other provisions are there for the exporters, some benefits are there, for example, under that this anti-dumping duty also exempted. So that is a provision they gave. Therefore, when EO unit is importing or SEZ unit is importing or under advance authorization you are importing, in such case, though anti-dumping duty is applicable in normal course, but to these exporters this has been exempted, because the purpose is the taxes and duties should not be involved a factor when we are exporting. Therefore, these anti-dumping duties also is a factor which should not affect our exports competitiveness. Therefore, it has been exempted. Okay, that is how these are the some of the cases we can see from the site itself. Sorry, I will open this DGTR website. If you go to this Director General of Trade Remedies, then all the cases, update cases are available under investigation, which have been already imposed anti-dumping duties. All these cases are available here. You can go to what are the products like, and if you click here, details will come from the initiation to final that investigation, then announcement of this, every step by step they are given here. See, for example, this particular case we are talking about initiation, preliminary findings, then final findings, then initiation of the MTR, final MTR, like initiation, like that step by step what all they are doing till the last they announce the public this gazette notification. Till that time all these details are available for each of the case. Like this particular case we have taken is a glass fiber and articles from China. This is the and similarly if you go to the any of the items, for example here all these items are there. So what are the actions are taken, every updates is available here in this site, and we can go it. Now I am concluding this session. Apart from the anti-dumping duty, there are some other provisions also there, like anti-subsidy duty or this safeguards duty. These also available. Safeguard duty means all of a sudden there is a surge of import happened. For example, all of a sudden there is surge of import. Anti-dumping measures takes longer period. During that period, generally the industry will die out, because it takes 2 years, 3 years. Like during this period, most of the industry die out. Therefore, there is an alternative. Another provision is there. All of a sudden, there is a surge of the imports. In such case, safeguard duty can be imposed by the Revenue Department. Like recent sometime back on steel products also, there is unfair dumping is being happened from various countries, mainly from China. Therefore, immediately Revenue Department has taken initiative to impose the safeguard duty. Okay, sir. And apart from these, all these things, the general factor I want to focus on every time I used to tell is not only government. Always we throw on the government. The onus is on the government. Is it not the onus on every citizen of India? Why we all import only? We are going crazy about import. We know the cheaper products and the products also. We go for the Chinese import. This is from our side. Everybody has to come out with certain obligation towards the nation building. Our Atmanirbhar Abhiyan now is started, and we have to promote our MSME. How we can promote? Everybody has to contribute. Everybody tell, yes, I want to purchase from domestic goods. Why I go with import? I boycott. It's not entirely boycott, but come out with some provisions, at least which are non-essential goods. Come out with that pledge that I will purchase only from the domestic and India manufactured goods only, so that I will support Atmanirbhar Abhiyan. So that inculcation of the spirit has to come out. How this you see Japanese, when after this First World War and Second World War, they collapsed completely. Then they boycotted this US products, and they never use now. Chinese are boycotted the Facebook and Google, and still they survive. Can't we do it? Without Google or without Facebook, we can't survive. Day to day, it is a part of our life, like in DNA. But how the Chinese are doing it? So why not we also can do? So only non-essential. I'm not talking about essential. Suppose a mobile is you not able to purchase because not good mobile is there Indian manufacturing. So you purchase from the Chinese mobile. Okay, no issue. But why we take purchase of the covers of the mobiles also? Can't we manufacture in domestic market? Our MSME can be supported when we purchase the mobile. That covers are these folders. If you purchase only domestic, then lot of our MSMEs can be prospered. But unfortunately, we don't do that. Covers also come from the China only, and all the mobiles and the covers also under invoiced, and is everybody knows. And our Indians cheat the Indians. It's not that somebody doing that one. Indians cheats the Indians, because Indians only, the traders will tell to the overseas suppliers to under invoice, because the mobiles every time the new models comes, what is the price and everything is not available in the data bank of the customs also. They can't make the comparison. So every time new model, though the new model coming at 30,000 as the initial pricing, but they declare it is only 10,000. And whatever the dumping duty or whatever you impose, that customs duty or increase the customs duty, but still nothing it is in affecting. And even corona period, initial few months it is come down the imports, but again it is surged from the August onwards, heavily it is surged. The imports are happening from China again. So this is how we has to contribute as a citizen of India. We had to come out with our own pledge. At least non-essential items we should not purchase from the other countries. Then only we can protect ourselves. Why we MSMEs and I think they started this lot of deliberations on the anti-dumping duty or import substitution. Sometime back also I was there in one of the other forum for the import substitution. Why we are talking about? Why government only we can impose? Can't a citizen we can do ourselves? Something we can contribute definitely, but that has to be come out. With this note, I want to conclude. Thanks for the organizers, and thanks for the panelists and all the delegates. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Panigrahi sir,
Yeah.
for the wonderful presentation and for the wonderful explanation of all the measures and all the everything about anti-dumping. And you are absolutely right. We might not get our MSME might not able to deliver the quality as we are getting in the imported products, but at least we should trust our domestic companies, our domestic industries. And once we will start purchasing, we will take this pledge that okay, we will purchase only our Indian manufactured product. Tomorrow our MSMEs are also get to that technology and get to that quality what we are getting into the imported products. So we have to support aggressively to our domestic industry, and let us pledge that Diwali is the upcoming festival, and the maximum Chinese products I have been purchasing during Diwali in forms of light, in forms of candles, in forms of lamps. So I would like to request and urge to all our participants to please support our Indian manufacturers, the local the diya makers, and to the lamps maker who are making from the mud, and the brick manufacturers. These are the industries who are lagging behind. We are using the water purifiers and everything which is made by the vast big companies. They are already having their profit margins, but the person who's making the mud pots or the ceramic pots, they are facing lot of difficulties. With these words, I would like to request all our participants to please raise their hand. So our platform is open for the question answer session, please. Mr. Jagdish Parekh, you can ask your question.
Hello, my voice
Yes,
is
sir.
clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for the FIO and the speaker guest. such a depth knowledge. My question to Fio is that you said in the initial lecture that Udyam Aadhaar has to be registered. My question is that we have the Aadhaar now. Then also we have to register Udyam Aadhaar, and it is for everybody, or you said in the chat note that for the importer exporter is not required. Can you clarify it, please? Hello.
Sir, if you are having Udyog Aadhaar, you have to convert it into the Udyam registration as per the government guidelines.
Okay.
Secondly, if you are the merchant exporter or the trader, then only you don't require Udyam registration. Otherwise, if you are the manufacturer or the service provider, you may require the Udyam registration as per the new guidelines.
ऋषि मैडम मैं
Yes,
ऐड
sir.
करना चाहता हूँ.
Sure, sir.
हाँ सर, मर्चेंट एक्सपोर्टर्स और ट्रेडर्स जो होते हैं उनका
Yes, sir.
उद्यम रजिस्ट्रेशन होता नहीं है.
नहीं होता है.
प्रोविजन नहीं है, गवर्नमेंट ने प्रोविजन में नहीं उद्यम रजिस्ट्रेशन केवल मैन्युफैक्चरर एंड सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स का होता है.
Okay, sir. And my second question to the speaker, that he said in the initial lecture that we are not innovative. Here I am slightly debating what he said. Or many they have the wonderful technologies, but everybody knows it that we have the finance problem, and bank is not supporting. The rate of interest is so high. How take the cheaper goods? Tell me.
Okay.
And secondly, and many suppose you support gold card scheme for MSME. How many banks are knowing that that we can take the benefit? When we go to bank, when we talk the gold card.
Hello.
ऋषि ये तो इनका स्क्रीन शेयरिंग ऑफ करवा दीजिए तो पार्टिसिपेंट से.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
और सर मैं आपका कहना चाह रहा हूँ, आपके आंसर का रिप्लाई देना चाह रहा हूँ कि जैसे हमारे डिपार्टमेंट की एक है बिजनेस इंक्यूबेशन स्कीम. अंडर दिस स्कीम 15 लाख रुपीस फंडिंग विल बी गिवन टू इनोवेटर फॉर टू कन्वर्ट देयर प्रोडक्ट टू prototype, to their idea to prototype R&D product. So 15 lakhs rupees for the creating R&D infrastructure. Around 166 ideas have been submitted from Madhya Pradesh, in which around 20 host institution or business incubators have submitted their ideas. So this business incubation scheme will promote innovation and innovation entrepreneurship. So you can take our business incubation scheme facility of business incubation.
Hello.
Mr. Jagdish.
Also, I want to add some more thing.
Yeah.
Actually, our Indians doesn't lack any innovation. I do agree with this. That
Yes,
fact
sir.
is true.
Yeah.
We are innovating.
Yes.
When we are abroad, we are more
Yes.
innovators. And
Yes.
most of the CEO or CFOs of the worldwide larger multinational companies, Fortune 100 if you see, and
Yes.
50% of the Indians only at the top positions.
Yes.
So
sir.
that way I am not denying.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the facts if you see, recently
Yeah.
one publication also there for global innovation,
Yeah.
and where we stand, where the China stands. China is
Okay.
the number one innovator now. Patents
Yeah.
if we see, Chinese patents are in thousands is going, where Indians are going to second digit. Digit is very difficult, like coming out.
Okay.
So that is the difference I'm talking. I'm not denying don't have the. Yeah, we are more intelligent than any other country also,
Yeah.
because that is proof of that Fortune 100 countries. If you see, more than 50% top executives are Indians only. So that
Yes.
prove it.
Yeah.
I definitely prove it. But other factor also, our MSM is why they're not competitive. One factor you're telling about means interest and other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what are the facilities are provided also, we are not able to utilize it. Government, for example, there is 5% interest subvention is given for the MSME exporters,
Okay.
and more than 50% of the fund is unutilized.
Yeah.
Either we are not aware of it, or we
Yeah.
are not able to want to use
That's
it.
the main thing. Yeah. Yeah. I told you example gold
Yes.
card scheme. How many MSME are aware? Even
Yes.
banks are not aware of. When we go to bank, they say we do not know. What is this? The gold
Yes.
card scheme has been implemented since 2004. We are in 2020. Even their bank says we do not know. What is this?
So one more thing for this
Yeah.
forum only. That is why MSME and FIO also come to bring awareness programs from time to
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
As a MSME, they are the
Yes, sir.
nodal agencies. You can
Yes.
approach them. They will
Yeah.
support you. They will guide you. They will tell
They
you.
will support her, but bank has to also come out now first.
No, that's true, sir. These
Yeah.
MSME also Nilesh Saab, if you approach him, he will talk to bankers also. Will tell what is this provision, why they are not giving. Yes, their agencies are there.
Because MSME has to get the support immediately next day. Banks is taking so much time, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months.
Okay, sir. I'm not denying.
MSME
that.
we will
Mr.
die out.
Jagdish, Mr. Jagdish,
May I, Mr.
Yeah.
Jagdish,
Sure.
I tell you,
Yeah,
MSME, but
yeah,
this is the first time I listen that banks are delaying, but they charge
Yes.
charge you interest after deducting this 5%. What is the scheme?
yeah.
But maybe I don't know which place are you from, but
I'm
is
from
awareness
Mumbai.
Mumbai. You know,
Yeah.
I agree with Mr. Sham Sundarji and with you also.
Yeah,
From time to time, we should have awareness program, and sometimes,
yeah,
as I told before, discussing with Mr. Nilesh ji, that some banks are doing saying yes or some no. But when there is a policy from the government of India, nobody can refuse it.
yeah.
I mean, then you have to report it to somebody. Like I just came to know from Mr. Nilesh that there is a champions at .in. But if you have any problem, our FIO office is always always there for you, and one small mail can sort the problem out. I must also tell you
Yes, sir.
that our DG CEO, he is 24/7.
Okay,
You just write one mail
okay,
and you will get immediate answer and immediate solution also.
okay.
I mean, I think today I'm proud to say that all the regions of you and our DG office, we are serving the best to the country.
I know, hello, because they help us lot in getting the AOT1 status. We know that, but ultimately bank has to respond, no?
You know, then depend upon your bank also. There's your responsibility to track the higher authorities with the policy to the bank.
When we complain to FIO, then FIO talks to the bank. Bank takes the objection that why we have gone to.
So this is you have to put your foot down, no? You have to take
Yeah.
a stand. You
Yeah.
don't need to come to complain for the FIO, but you
Yeah.
must talk to the seniors of policymakers of the bank also. I mean,
Yeah.
I never. I will say with this that whenever FIO is interrupted, the matter is sorted out.
Yes, I know that. Yeah, correct.
Sure.
I know.
Mr. Jagdish,
Thanks. Yeah.
I would like to request you, if you are having any kind of problem,
Yes.
please write it to us,
Yes,
any of our office. Even you can write it to me. I can take it up with your concerned bank, and I will try to get it resolved. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
very
for asking your question.
Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay.
So,
Ms. Hetal, you can ask your question, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Mr. Panigrahi, and good afternoon, everybody from FIO.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you for organizing this event. FIO has been doing a wonderful job, especially with exporters. My only question to Mr. Panigrahi was that you mentioned that importers are excluded from the investigation. Now, it is very much possible that in an exceptional situation, a manufacturer may become an importer only for a small quantity, or in exceptional situation where he may be forced to import one of these products that he is manufacturing to cater to the market. Does the importer get excluded in such a situation also?
Yes, sir. That import content is always excluded. Import content. Suppose you are manufacturer, you small quantities are imported. To that extent only it is excluded. Not enter your production or anything. To that extent of
Right.
import, because import should not form a part of the domestic production or for that reason
perfect.
they are being excluded.
But the domestic manufacturer can participate in investigation.
Yes,
It
sir.
can
Yes, sir.
provide
Yes,
information.
Natural, sir. That is
Just
the
because
purpose
he
of
is
it.
an importer does not exclude him from
No, sir.
participating.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Only
Thank
to
you so
that
much, sir.
extent of the data will not be considered when that import data. To that extent of the live
Perfect.
product we have imported, only that much.
Perfect, sir. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Mr. Panikkar, I would like to say something.
Yes.
You know, all these duties, anti-dumping duties are done. But in this regard, I will also request to the members, and in every platform we say that there are certain things. You know, sometimes raw material is exported from India, and the finished goods are coming from China on very, very cheaper prices. Rather, my personal feeling is that India doesn't have a capacity to. We are not ready for anything. You know, even for small things. When the order is there, for example, for 100,000 pieces for a shirt, for they want overnight, it's not possible to deliver in steel and anything else. I'm of the opinion that capacity building should be there. All the manufacturers have to change their mind to produce more and to produce the best, and then only we have a very strong platform to fight against any other country. I mean, there is no reason that India has. So I know, long back, India used to sell these chemicals to China. Now chemicals are coming from China,
Yes.
and steel is the same situation. And our steel production is, I don't know why they are expensive. There is no reason to get expensive, but sure, we have to look at our own house also to improve the things, and we must improve our productions also.
True, sir. True, sir.
Very true, sir.
So one more example I'll tell you in this regard. We are always talking of China. Leave apart China, I will give another example of Bangladesh regarding the garment industry. What is the capacity within the Bangladesh for the cotton or yarn or fabric? They are depending on India. Indian cotton is going to the larger extent to the Bangladesh, and Indian yarn also going to the Bangladesh. Those are raw materials, and they are manufacturing the garments, and they are very competitive worldwide, and we are not able to compete with them, and we losing the market. Our market share, existing market share also we are lost to Bangladesh. So that is true, exactly, sir. You have talked the right point at the right point. So we should be competitive. That is very important. Also innovation also. Why Indian product means consumers are going for the Chinese toys, because those are very attractive at the cheaper price, at the same time very attractive. But we are not able to do so. So that is why they are going from the outside. So definitely our industry also has to improve a lot on this front.
Sir, I will take one more minute. We are producing hand tools in Punjab, in Jalandhar is my city where we produce. And this industry started way back in 1950s, and when people migrated from Pakistan. With the time, we could not improve so much of ours, although we tried. But the day came, the need of the hour. Then this during terrorism, the industry blew like anything, and the production was very high, the labor was very high, the machinery was available, everything was done. But I see the same scene like today in a COVID time. We have learned a lot. Like, for example, a lot of people like me never knew what is computer. Now we are talking all over the world on the computers. So in this process, today even, we have a lot of companies coming from US, from Germany. We are basically working for Germany. We are specializing in German brands. And there is no dearth. The only thing is how to have your own manufacturing, how to have your more production. And in this area we have learned, and people are investing crores of rupees for for their welcoming US people and all. And this is applicable in every industry. I think every industry should think about them. That's my request.
Something?
Thank you, sir. Mr. Madan Lal, you can ask your question, please. Mr. Madan Lal, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
I have one question with regard to anti-dumping duty HSN code. What is observed recently that whenever the anti-dumping duty is levied on a product, the product has its own specific HSN code. Are you able to listen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So when a product has a specific HSN, the notification should also contain the same HSN code. But what is happening is there are many 15 to 20 HSN codes, which are also there's some disturbance, I think. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Other HSN codes are also mentioned in the notification. About 15-20 HSN code they mention, along with the identified items. But so what happens when we go for custom the other items, the customer face a lot of hardship in explaining them that these HSN code are not. They send the sample for testing, and the testing there is again process of bank guarantee, and so many things are happening. So we are very much suffering in this. So what to do for this?
Yes.
And DGTR, they say it was in the application. There's no, I can say. So what should we do in that case?
Sir, you're absolutely right, sir. HSN code, every chapter means HSN code. There is another also there at the bottom of it, others, other category. Means if you not specifically categorize, the HSN code is not specifically categorized that product, then others are been mentioned. Taking this clue, lot of mischievers are there, fraudulently they are using that clause. That others is because specifically it is not fit into any of the other HSN codes. Therefore, that provision is there that universal HSN codes is not like Indian. It is a universal coding system as per the WCO, World Customs Organization. They mentioned. So it is universal applicable at the 6-digit level, universal at the same means meaning, same interpretation. Okay, but some people mischievously, if some item is anti-dumping or higher rate is there, higher customs rate, then they try to put this item, describe this item into others category. And that nexus is going in a very large amounts, and few years back they found it. So therefore, to curb this misuse, and because this is a big scandal, like suppose the HSN code talks about say IGST is 18% and custom duty is 10%.
Yeah.
They want to put some clause that others, so that where it attracts, for example, 5% custom duty and say it is either it is 5% or 12% of the IGST, lower IGST or lower custom duty, then the people are preferring to that and mischieving. It is a clear case of scam. So government also found out whenever you are mentioning the others code, then you have to be very specific about what is that others.
Yeah. So what my suggestion is, the specific code of the item in 6 digit,
Yes.
along with the others can be also taken in the notification. But not only others, even the other headings of 4 digits are also included.
Yes.
That is the problem where I was facing is.
Yes, sure, sir. Because that people are misusing, because of some people are misusing their provisions, everybody is suffering. Therefore, it's better now to come out with others, means what is that category specifically you have to come out or specify it.
No, I agree with you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Item mentioned others, or the HSN code of others can be included in the notification along with the HSN code of the particular item.
No,
That I can agree.
No,
But other than this HSN code, these two others and the specific item HSN code, other than two also many other HSN codes are also taken.
yes, sir.
There is no anti-dumping duty actually on that items.
Yes, sir. Yeah, true, sir. 100% true. But it is not possible to incorporate the others. Because others has generally is
No, others
there
I
is
don't
no
want to
limit.
incorporate.
For others, there is no limit. So the people are so innovating. Fraudsters are more innovators than others. So they are putting that clauses and taking advantage. That is why the government has put certain conditions.
Sir, you have not understood me. What is the item HSN code of the item others?
Yes.
The others where it is mentioned, no, it also has a separate HSN code. That they can take in the notification and put anti-dumping duty on that, not an issue. But other than the others and the specific HSN code, other than this, both also others are covered. Many other items are covered. That is.
Okay, sir.
Can I
If
share?
anyone, yeah,
Shall I
if
tell the example? I'll give the example, sir. 1 second, madam.
yes,
See, 7005 is a float glass.
Yes.
Clear float glass, there is an anti-dumping duty from China, Malaysia, and blah, blah, many other countries. Okay. So, clear float glass, there is a specific HSN code. And item mentioned in that list, clear, the others also you can put, that is okay. But 7004, 7003, 7006, 7008, all are covered. They put in the notification. So when we go to the custom, they say, well, no, we have to send for testing because you have mentioned 706, 7004. Item will be different, but still they face a lot of hardship. There is extra clear glass which is not even being manufactured in India. Not even that also we are suffering. There is a tribunal order also. We have shown the tribunal order also, but still they say no, we have to send for bank guarantee. You give bank guarantee, we send for testing. Let the laboratory in Kolkata decide.
Mr. Madanlal, that others HSN code is meant for the products which is not specifically like falling in the category, which is the part of that chapter and having some different aspects also. So if your product is falling under the others category of that HSN code, might be someone else is also having some others category falling product. So that is the reason the common HS code, which is concluding that others category of that particular chapter has been made. So that might be there might be a procedure of that customs which they need to follow, because every time if they are taking others as an HSN code for the anti-dumping duty, tomorrow again any other product with other specification in the same chapter will arise the same issue. So that is the procedure of customs. I think we have to we can ask for some solution for that. Of course, definitely we can understand your problem. So if it is possible, can you please send me an email with regard to that, your product, the specification of your product and the HSN code in which
Your
that is
mail ID is Rishuji.
yeah, rishumishra@fio.org.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
One more thing.
Thank you so much.
One more
Yes,
thing.
sir.
Rajiv sir may be interested.
Mr.
to
Rajiv Jain
add-
wanted to say
yeah,
something.
He want to add something. So
Yeah,
Rajiv ji.
thanks. I'm Rajiv Jain, joining from Mumbai, RSWM Limited. I am the business head here. I just wanted to draw attention of the forum towards one case of anti-dumping which is already registered, and it has entered the stage of probe initiation after extension one after another due to pandemic and all. This is the situation of import of or dumping of spun yarn, synthetic spun yarns, especially polyester, which is causing a big damage to Indian domestic industry, with the price range of around 6 to 10 rupees lower. And just if I take the example of Bhilwara sector alone, it is having import of 1,000 tons of synthetic spun yarns, especially polyester. And that is damaging the industry of domestic in a big way. So we are expecting something coming out from that particular sector, especially up to the count range of 45s. A huge amount, huge quantities imported from countries like Indonesia, China, Vietnam, and Nepal as well. And the case is under a probe situation right now. So that was from my side.
But we can collect all the information, Yashudi, from Mr. Jain also. If we can do anything from your side, having Mr. Panigiri on the loop,
Yes,
please
sir.
take all the problems of the importers or the members, so that we can compile it and put it to the DG sir, and to see how to handle all these things. Yeah.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
And
So
the
I would like to
fact is
request.
also,
Yes, sir.
that, you know, even with 8 rupees or 9 rupees lower price what they are importing in Bhilwara sector, like, we are hardly making any profits at that price is what we are doing right now.
Sure, sir.
Rajiv, sir.
That is where the industry has to come forward. Rightly, Jain Sahib is talking about. Industry has to come forward, because there is no provision. Government themselves can take such measures. Safeguards, of course, they can take, but anti-dumping duty, there is a provision that industry has to represent and come out with all your information data. Of course, from FIO, they are all over India, they are supporting to all the exporters. So definitely come out with that data. So definitely will help you out.
Panigiri sir, I only say, under these circumstances, these are the business, somebody selling lower quality or higher quality. But still, I only say one thing: necessity is mother of invention.
Yes.
Something will definitely come out of it.
True, sir. True.
And I would like to request all our participants and wanted to inform all of you that FIO is taking the aggressive step to putting forward their issues and their compliances in front of the competitive officers, and our DG, Dr. Ajay Sahai, is 24/7 available for solving the problem. Today we are having our chairman with us. That is the great opportunity. He is also sparing his valuable time and understanding the problem of all our members and all our exporters who have been the part of this program. Our management committee member and Mr. Nilesh Trivedi, they all are sparing their valuable time. Mr. Panigrahi gave us the entire detail of the anti-dumping duty and the precautionary measures. So I would like to request all the participants from all the industries to please bring your problems to our notice. Until or unless you are bringing your problem to us, we are not able to resolve that. We cannot understand what is the problem you are facing for. So thank you so much. If anyone is having any question, they can raise their hand. Otherwise, I would like to request.
And one more question is given in the chat box. I'm seeing anti-dumping duty is imposed at different rates for different products. That is what is the question. Yes, anti-dumping duty is different from each of the product. Product wise, they had to investigate and come out with what is the damage happening. Accordingly, they impose the anti-dumping duty. So it is product wise. Definitely, it's true. And in the same product also, within the country also, country to country, the rates may change, because every country has different type of margins are there, that dumping margin. So accordingly, the rates will change for the same product from the different countries. Again, within the country, within the country also, from exporter to exporter also will change. So it is not like a uniform for the same product, always the same anti-dumping duty, but country wise and exporter wise also it will change.
And I wanted to add one more thing. There is one more question in the chat box, that if we are importing something from one country, X country, and then we are repacking or relabeling the product and we are sending that to Y country. So I wanted to make this thing clear that until or unless you are making 50% of value addition in the imported product, you cannot tag it as the Indian manufactured product. Anytime if you are every time when you are exporting your product to any country, you have to furnish a certificate of origin, and then that certificate of origin is only provided by any government agency when you are having more than 50% of value addition in your product. Like you are importing suppose you are importing PP granules from X country and you are manufacturing a FIBC bags out of it and then you are sending. So you are entirely changing the structure of that particular raw material. So this is the one thing I wanted to make it clear that, sir, you cannot just import something and you can relabel that on your name or tag it on your name and you can export and you can get the benefit. No, you cannot. And anti-dumping duty will also applies to this kind of thing also. That if you are importing something on the cheaper prices, you are relabeling that and you are sending that to Y country, yes, anti-dumping duty will apply and they will definitely go through the entire checking process. So this is my clarification on that, sir. Panigrahi, sir, if I am right.
Yes. Sure. Recently, Government of India brought with new provisions, new rules of origin, especially the targeting for FTA agreements, what are the free trade agreements we have. People are misusing that agreements and with a smaller value addition also they call it, for example, from China the material comes to Sri Lanka and their manufacturing are without any of the manufacturing, just packing, repacking or something, labels they are changing and exporting to India, taking the benefit of the FTAs. So to curb it, now the new provisions of rules of origin has been introduced. So to curb it, so there are some agreements are there. Of course, that manufacturing, that value addition, it is not a uniform, but it depends upon the agreement to agreement. What type of agreements we have went into. Most of the agreements, for example, this South Asian agreement we have, for example, where the Sri Lanka, other South Asian countries are involved, there the 35% value addition is mandated, minimum, and that is a different countries, different FTAs, different value additions. So accordingly, yes, it depends. So definitely, madam, you are right. So value addition criteria has to be fulfilled, and those now what has happened? Those importing means exporting countries, if the onus is on them to register with certain authorities and prove that value addition is done. So this is ultimately the importer's responsibility now. Earlier only government is looking after, but importers has now proof all these value additions and all things, that is importer's responsibility happen.
Yes, sir. Every agency is having their worksheet. They have to, like, whoever the importer or who is exporting to the third country, they have to fill up that worksheet and they have to declare that, attest that with the agency that yes, there is the 50% of value addition, and if the agency is having any doubt about that you are making 50% or not, you are making less than that, they are checking to your unit that whether you are making the product actually adding anything 50% or not. So this is also one thing which I wanted to bring to the notice of all my participants, to all the dignitaries. So
thank you, thank you very much. From on behalf of members and from our northern region also, I must compliment you. You have done a very, very good program, and I thank very much Mr. Panigiri and our friend Mr. Nilesh ji. And we must say that I am missing Khaled today. Say my regards. So, are you going to continue or we?
Sir, with your vote of thanks, we wanted to end up with this session.
Okay,
sir.
okay, thank you very much. So, thank you very much, Team FIO, Western Region. I am really happy to have more knowledge today. Like every video conferencing, we learn a lot, and I must compliment to our president and Mr. Sharad Saraf, and also the DG CEO and the team of Mumbai region, Western region. So with these words, I again say that if any of member wants anything, any information or any other problem other than the anti-dumping, please contact our Mumbai office. And Yashu has given you her mail address. I think it's very convenient to find out FIO Mumbai. So thank you very much, and please invite us whenever you have these type of programs. And Nilesh sir, request अगर जब भी आपका होगा प्रोग्राम है बुलाइए जरा please.
Yes sir, yes sir.
And I will get in touch with you. मेरे पास आपका नंबर आ गया, सुबीर सर ने भेज दिया मुझे.
सर आप नॉर्दर्न रीजन के लिए करवा दीजिए, मैं आपको
वही
पूरा
कराएंगे
सब-
वही कराएंगे वही मैं अभी बात करता हूँ अपने नॉर्दर्न
क्योंकि
रीजन
बहुत पोटेंशियल है, नॉर्थ में तो मेन पोटेंशियल है।
बहुत है सर बहुत है। चलो थैंक यू
बहुत
वेरी
आना
मच
है
सर।
सर, छोटी छोटी चीजों के लिए मेरे पास
Yes,
दिल्ली
yes.
से फोन आते हैं।
हाँ मैं बस वही तो बता रहा हूँ, मुझे दिल्ली फोन करना पड़ता है।
हम्म।
चलो थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू
you,
वेरी
sir.
मच सुबर भाई,
Thank you
थैंk यू
so
सो
much.
मच। ओके ओके यशु,
Thank you,
so
sir,
much.
for
Thank
joining.
you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
To all our
Thank you, everyone.
participants, Mr. Panigrahi, I would like to request you please send your PPT as we are getting so much of
Sure.
overwhelming response regarding your PPT. That is
Sure.
so much well organized, well informative session, sir. And to all my members, I would like to request to all of you that we will be sending the PPT once we will get it from Mr. Panigrahi, and we will be sending also the feedback form to all of you to please fill up that form and send it back to us for upgrade our services. Thank you so much.
यशु सारे रीजन्स को भेज देना
जी सर, बिल्कुल भेज
फॉर
दूँ।
रिकॉर्ड, है ना? हाँ
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू वेरी
Thank
मच।
you.
Thank you.
This meeting
Bye-bye.
stands and thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
sir. Thank you, Nilesh sir. Thank you,
Namaskar,
Panigrahi sir.
Nilesh ji, namaskar. You have invited me. Thanks a lot. And madam,
Thank you,
thanks a
sir.
lot.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.